My daughter keeps asking me about spirits and death and the afterlife. She's only 8, and, she got introduced to the concept of death fairly young when our first cat died. And she saw him, and we had to explain that he had died and he wasn't coming back. He wouldn't be waking up. His spirit had gone somewhere else. Well, this really fascinated her. And so my daughter's probably going to become what we used to call a Gloom cookie, which is an upbeat goth. I heard there's a new term for it. It's called Gloom cute or something like that. Where, you're cute and adorable, but you're also like really into the macabre. I could see her doing that. But, there's a game that we're playing right now, and she likes to watch me play, and it's called Spiritfarer. And Spiritfarer is an excellent game that's basically heavily inspired by Miyazaki and Spirited Away. And you are a little girl named Stella who runs basically a gigantic ship for the dead. You take the place of Chiron, and you spirit away souls to the afterlife. And you're kind of an in-between. You're a psychopomp. You're in between. So in between the land of the living and wherever you go in the great beyond is this in-between purgatory kind of place where the souls haven't really let go of what allowed them to be alive and allowed them to be in the real world, and they haven't quite passed on yet. And it's a very good game, and I've seen several little shows on it and stuff like that. It's won some awards. It's an amazing title, but it brings her to ask questions that are difficult, like what happens when you bring them to the Evergate and they cross on. I had to tell her, we don't know. And that's one of the rules of life. You're not allowed to know. I suspect some things. I think some things. But I don't know. Because you can't know. And honestly, that is the great human struggle. The great human struggle is that we're future blind. Our perceptions are locked in a linear time fashion. We do not get to see the future until it arrives, and we get to view the past only through the murky haze of our memories. We're not allowed to see what's actually going to happen tomorrow until tomorrow gets here and we're living it. But then we only get to see it once. So, what happens when you die? That falls right into that category of things we think we know, but really we don't. There's a lot of different ideas as to what happens when we die. To me, the most toxic of those ideas is the nothing idea, the nihilistic idea. I do not have positive things to say about atheists and nihilists. Now, I've got several friends who are atheists, but there is a limit to our friendship because we believe very differently on something very fundamental. And I actually did damage to my own spiritual abilities at one point because I hung out with a few too many people that didn't believe in anything. It started to rub off on me. I started to have oblivion panic where, you're worried that when you die, you just kind of disappear into nothingness. And to me, that's so horrifying that it brings about panic attacks. And so I finally started hanging out with other spiritual people again, and that has been extremely good for me. So, I will say to the people of the world who listen, sometimes what you need to do is you need to hang out with the kind of people that you feel will nourish you. And value those people. Because we are a communal species. And the people around us affect us a lot. Especially if you're one of the people that's like, I don't need people. Well, you especially need people. That's why you say those things. So, be safe out there, everybody.